What's good, people? Thank you as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. All right. So I just saw a tweet. Shout out to Undisputed Truth that sent me a tweet from Michael Benson. If you guys don't follow Michael Benson and you're a boxing fan, you need to get onto his Twitter page. He works for, I think he is the boxing editor or boxing whatever for TalkSport. Gets a lot of information very quick. Always puts lots of information out there. So check out Michael Benson on Twitter if you haven't already followed him. I'm sure 90% of you already know who he is. Anyway, so he tweeted the following. The tweet's up now. I can't remember it word for word, but it was along the lines of Dillian Whyte is flying to America to have interesting meetings and that Dillian Whyte is a free agent and thus, I guess, wants to discuss his future with various parties that would like to discuss it with him. He's going over now, and he's made a point of knowing that he's going over for the Adrian Broner Pac-Man fight. And the reason I mention that is obviously because there are other fights coming up this weekend. But he's making sure that we are clear that that's what he's going over there for. Bear in mind that Eddie Hearn's in America as well, promoting Demetrius Andrade versus Akavov and all that DAZN shit. So I think he's wanted us to know that he's not going over for Eddie Hearn. He's gone over for Broner Pac, right? And Broner Pac obviously is being promoted by Showtime, PBC, Al Heyman, that crew. I'm all for boxers keeping their options open. I am pro boxer. There's no two ways about it. I think managers and promoters are dodgy as fuck. I am pro boxer. So I'm all for boxers keeping their options open, especially in the world of this sport where the window is so small, right? You hear boxers talk about 3, 4, 5-year plans. And in my head, I'm thinking, shit, this could be over in one night. I mean, it's all well and good having 4 or 5-year plans, but it could be over in one night. So make sure you make as much money as possible when you can. That's why I kind of laugh at the idea of this Wilder Fury Joshua thing. I'm thinking, look, if there's 20 million on the table, fucking grab it. Grab it, because it could end in one night, which is horrible to think about, but it's true, it could. This isn't like any other sport like football, basketball, or NFL or anything like that where you sign 5-year contracts and if you're injured, you're still getting paid. This isn't like that with boxing. So keep your options open. In saying all that, Dillian Whyte must be crazy. Dillian Whyte must be crazy. Shout out to Hatman. I was watching live podcast Hatman done about a week ago. And on that podcast, and it's a good one. If you've got an hour, listen to it. It's a very good one. On that podcast, he was talking about the idea of Dillian Whyte leaving Eddie Hearn. And would it be a good idea, bad idea? Because some people, for some reason, are floating the idea about Dillian Whyte leaving Eddie Hearn, which is just fucking comical. And Hatman made a good point here. In fact, it's not a good point, a great point. Name me any boxer fighting right now, that has never had a world title, never fought for a world title, but has done 2 pay-per-views back to back and earned 7, maybe even 8 figures in those pay-per-views. Name me one. You can't. That's the position Dillian Whyte's in. Dillian Whyte is a good boxer. Not a great boxer, not a fantastic boxer, a good boxer. That's always been my opinion. I think he's getting better. I think he's getting a lot better, but he's not a great boxer. He's a good boxer that has somehow earned in his last 2 fights over 7 figures. So we're not talking 1 million. We're talking, I don't know, I'm going to guess here and say for Chisora, 5? Should we say that? For Parker, 3? And for Lucas Brown, maybe 1 million. So in his last 3 fights, I think Dillian Whyte's earned 7 figures. Guaranteed in his last 2, but I think maybe even for Lucas Brown. Of that, 2 of those were pay-per-view, right? So he's getting a bit of that as well. Joseph Parker pay-per-view was, I think, something like 475,000. Derek Chisora pay-per-view was something like 438,000. You want to think of leaving that situation? To go where? Al Heyman and PBC and Showtime. Maybe he doesn't know this, but Deontay Wilder got paid something like 2.1 million for his fight against Luis Ortiz. Deontay Wilder, WBC champion, at the time 39-0, I think it was, 38 knockouts. Or was it 40-0, 39 knockouts? And you somehow think that you flirting with the idea of going to, I don't know, Showtime or Al Heyman or PBC, it's smart. I think it would be the stupidest decision ever. Again, I don't know if he's just threatened because somehow he thinks he warrants a world title shot, and we could discuss that, and I could break it down where I think he doesn't warrant, but I'm not going to do that because I think he's a good fighter. But The idea of leaving Matchroom when you're a pay-per-view guy that does 400 to 500,000 pay-per-views and you've been paid millions in your last 2 fights is just, it's almost bordering on comical. It's almost bordering on comical. And I think fighters nowadays are crazy. I think fighters nowadays are crazy. There are, and this is not Dillian Whyte, by the way, I'm talking about, but there are average fighters that are earning millions. Millions. Average. Wouldn't lace a glove of some of the fighters of the last 15, 20 years earning millions. Dillian Whyte, and I repeat this, and again, this is not an anti-Dillian Whyte video, but I'm just speaking fucking facts here. Dillian Whyte hasn't fought for a world title and is yet a pay-per-view attraction and is earning millions, and he's flirting with the idea, or at least putting it out there, maybe to somehow scare Eddie Hearn, of going somewhere else because he's a free agent. Go, right? Others have thought about this as well. I remember James DeGale done this, and Lee Selby, thinking that somehow it was going to really improve their career. I don't think it did. I mean, people might say that James DeGale had the world title shots and stuff, but I don't think it did. I think if he stayed with or went with Eddie Hearn, I think he could be a household name in the UK. I don't think he is right now. I think we know who he is, but I don't think he's a star. And Lee Selby, I mean, I think Lee Selby is one of my favourite fighters from the UK, but no one's going to tell me somehow that he's done well. The grass isn't always greener, people. I mean, don't bite off the hand that feeds you. That's a phrase we hear all the time. And if I'm Dillian Whyte or his manager or his friend, even if I had his fucking phone number right now, I'd say, what are you even thinking about doing? What? That's a stupid idea. Hopefully it's just a joke. Again, keep your options open. Go and have a conversation if that's what you want to do. But the idea of even leaving Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and Sky is laughable. Let's understand this as well. He fought Chisora in his last fight and got paid millions. And I like Chisora, but Chisora's not even a top 20 heavyweight. I mean, you didn't fight a top 5 guy. I mean, Chisora, I say, actually, let me not be harsh, sorry, on Chisora. Chisora probably squeaks into the top 20, but that's just about it. And you got millions to fight him, and somehow you're not happy about that, and you're talking about going to have interesting conversations. Good luck to you, my friend. I will pray for you.